my channel. I'm very excited for today's video and I thought we could do a reading vlog together. The book is about 396 pages and I'm actually really excited to read it. Let me know in the comments if you've already read it and just tell me your thoughts on the book, because that's pretty much what we're going to do throughout this entire reading vlog. It's not going to be spoiler free, so sorry for that, but I'm just gonna share my thoughts and everything else, because I feel like for me that is content that I love to interact with on YouTube, and it's content that I want to make, and so I'm just really excited to be able to do this.
Hello, Ramona. I can't shake the simplest feeling beyond the ghost. We stand on the opposite shore. Hello, Ramona. I reach through mysterious.
Okay, I just read the prologue and I am so confused right now, and I feel like it's gonna say this later in the book, but he literally said, okay, I'm just gonna read this line. He says, voice deep, almost too low to hear, how the fuck do you smell like this? What? I'm so confused. Like, I get it, but also just so confused. And of course, chapter 1 starts 6 weeks before the ceremony. Like, now we gotta go backwards from the prologue. What? I swear I better get back to that point.
Beyond the ghost, we stand on the opposite shore. Hello, Ramona. I reach through mysterious ceilings, my only hope. I look for the things I don't know.
Okay. This is a modern book, and like, I love it because I legit work in cybersecurity. I'm a cyber girly, and like, okay, we're talking modern vampire girly, and this line right here where it says, it comes with the territory. You'd be mad too if someone did a penetration test against a firewall you've been working on for weeks and breached it in what, 1 hour? She's a cyber girly. Ah, I love her already. Okay, Misery Lark.
I stand alone. Show me where the ending goes. Honestly don't. I should be the last to know.
It is a slow reading day for me, but I'm on chapter 4 and I am so hooked right now. So I was wondering why when her dad said Moreland and then she was like, say his full name, like what's his full name, and then he was like, Lowe Moreland, and then she agreed to it. I was like, what's going on here? And then the fact that her friend Serena has been missing, and I now just found out when she was like searching for Serena and the cat was like playing with that crumpled up piece of paper, and she opened it and it said L.E. Moreland, and I was like, what? And so I'm starting to like have a theory, maybe she was doing like an investigative piece on the Wares because there had been a long period of human and vampires having an alliance, but not in like a good way, more so every 10 years they sent collateral, and Misery was that collateral, and then now she is the collateral for the wares. And then we also get introduced to Anna, which is like one of the orphan wares who lives with Moreland. And yeah, I'm blown away right now. So we will be checking back in here in a couple more chapters. On chapter 16, I'm officially halfway through the book, and I love this book so much. Like, I love that it's just such a modern day representation of where werewolves and vampires and humans and their interactions. And so for me, that's what has me drawn in. I still need to read the Crescent City series, because I also heard that's like very modern day, where they have like phones and all this other stuff. But I wanted to kind of recap since the last time I kind of came on here. And so, as we know, Misery has been looking for Serena, and I'm at the point now where she starts like developing this care for Anna, which is Lowe's little sister, who has been pretty much like orphaned because she saw her mom get killed by the Alpha. And we also find out that Anna is part human, which I'm like, I was not expecting that. And that just makes it so much more interesting as we're trying to see how Serena and Anna, or Liliana, so I guess it could be Anna too, Liliana, could be intertwined. As like we said, we saw L.E. Moreland written on the planner piece of paper. And then we also see that the Loyals are the people who are against Lowe, and Max is one of them, who tries to kidnap Anna. Yeah, Anna. And again, it was a trap, but then Misery goes out into the sun knowing that it will like burn her and hurt her, because she's like developed this sense of almost protection over her. And then when it's the full moon, Anna comes into Misery's room and ends up like sleeping in the closet with her, because as you know, Misery sleeps in the closet during the day until she comes out at night. And also another really cool thing, because I was kind of like a little bit disappointed of, not disappointed, but I'm like, oh, you know, because there's a lot of like stripping back of what, other than her talking about like their DNA. How do I explain it? I was a little disappointed, but also it makes the tale different. So like, I don't think I know the correct words to describe it. And the way that Misery says the only reason she's a vampire is because like a slight change of DNA. Same thing with werewolves, like they're all a species, just different, as to where there's really no magic involved, except when Misery thralls, which is like hypnotizes Max, and it only lasts like 10 minutes. And for me, I'm like, oh, finally something a little bit different about Misery than just almost kind of being human, which I get what the author is trying to do here. Like, she's really trying to not make them far off from humans, especially as they're living in a human world. And I think for me, I just wanted something different other than the fact that Misery lived among humans her whole life, and when she tried to go back to the vampires, you know, they were absolutely horrible to her. But then you also get to see a little bit into Lowe's life and these like close relationships, and how the vampires are so like, everything is about duty, and it's for the betterment of vampires. And so nothing is about individualistic choices, and it's all about choices for the whole. Hence why she doesn't know her birthday. her parents didn't name her. It was by the vampire council. And you get a glimpse into that, and then you see werewolves, or the weres, are much more human-like than she thought, as where they collect like family, they have family groups, and of course like there's a little bit of different cultural things, but overall they more closely act like humans than the vampires do. And so we're getting to see that, and then we're also getting to see Lowe open up to Misery and vice versa, because she gets caught going into his office trying to pretty much penetrate into his databases and find out where Serena is, except Cal, she thinks is Sparkles, starts rubbing on her legs, and when she looks down, and if you don't know or if you don't remember, Sparkles is Serena's cat that Anna names, otherwise she calls it Serena's fucking cat, and which I think is so hilarious. And then realizes with glowing eyes and teeth looking up at her that she's been caught. And then he's like, what are you doing? Like, she's ready to die at this point when she finally admits the truth. And also because another guy, not Max, oh my gosh, what's his name? Alex, sorry, there's so much like X, you know. Okay, so Alex is the one who she's been working with. Now that Lowe knows her real intentions about finding Serena, because she's like, then who the hell, oh my god, yeah, so this was a really big moment, right? Going back to like them opening back up to each other, is then she's like, then who the hell is L.E. Moreland? And then come to find out, it's his little sister, Liliana Moreland. I forget, I think it's Evelyn, Liliana Evelyn Moreland. And so she's like, oh shit, it's not you that she was doing this investigative piece on, it's her. Except now she knows the biggest secret of all, which is for centuries, nobody thought it could be possible that Liliana, Anna, is half human, half were. And so we kind of really start to see them start to open up to each other, where one, he can tell if you're lying, and two, she's like, well shit, I have nothing to lose, like I'm looking for Serena and I want answers. And so when they're on the roof one night, she tells him how awful she feels because Serena had said to her that I wish you cared about one fucking other thing other than myself, and you've like, you're a husk of a person and you're just waiting for time to pass by, which I get for Misery. Like, she has been treated as a pawn for other people's will her whole life. Like, her life has never been her own. And then she finally had her own and was drawn back, and the only reason she stayed is because of one thing and one person she cared about disappeared. And it's connected to the Moreland name. So now we're getting to the really spicy parts of the book. Also, can we talk about when Juno comes out of the woods and she's like butt naked, like the way that it's explained is newborn just slithered out of the birth canal naked, and like sits and has this full-on conversation with Misery and like kind of apologizes to her. And I just think, oh my goodness, like this is so funny, because she's like, do you know you're naked? Like, do you know that you're naked? Because this is just fucking weird. And I love how just blunt she is, and without even knowing it. But to get back to where we are now, because I really had to talk about that moment, and please tell me what you thought about that moment in the comments. But we're at the moment now where she, on the roof, finally convinced Lowe to let her come on this mission, aka break into Emery, who's the previous Alpha's mate, computer system, to see why, because she's, well, they think she's in charge of the Loyals, and she thinks she's in charge of the, or they think she's in charge of the group, that is trying to bring Lowe Moreland down after she thralled Max, and Max couldn't really like give any important names. And then come to find out, it wasn't like a mission. He got invited by Emery because it's like a wear custom for previous mates, alphas, or children to connect with the newest alpha. And I feel like Lowe really does want to be a different alpha. Like, he went off to school in the human world in Europe, in Germany, in Zurich. I don't know if I'm saying it right. In Zurich, Germany, is an architect, like had this whole life, and then like his duty became before that when they called him to come back. And he kind of stepped up to be this person. Anyway, so he flies this plane, and then she doesn't know, or neither do we, but oh my goodness, or neither do I, but he doesn't, or she doesn't know what marking means. And so this heated moment they have when they land, because it's like they need to know that you're mine, that you're mine. And I almost want this on my Kindle too, but maybe I can annotate the book. I don't know. I'm not like a good physical book annotator. Like, I've never done it before, but I love highlighting on my Kindle. But when they get off the plane, or when they're on the plane, the way he like kisses on her neck, and because of course vampires don't have sweat glands, he has to like kind of lick and kiss and leave his scent on different areas of her body, so the other wearers are not suspicious that she doesn't smell like him. And so anyway, she's like, I don't care, do whatever, like I will do whatever it takes to now help Anna, but also help to find Serena. And she starts to feel something she's never felt before, because she's never been with someone, like she's never been physically intimate with someone. And the one person she truly does love is Serena as her sister, and not in like any other kind of way. And the thing that he said at their wedding is like, it's like, why the fuck do you smell like that? Which we're like, what's going on? Like, why the do I smell like that? And then she always is bathing and trying to like cover up her scent and kind of be less of like a nuisance for him in his own home, since they're stuck together for a year. And then he goes, once it's like over and he's done like leaving his scent, he goes, it's done. And then she goes, is it better? And he like says back, better? Like question mark, like better? Like better? I don't even know how to do it. And then she's like, my smell, do I smell like my smell, do I smell like, and kind of doesn't finish her sentence, and he's like, mine. Oh. I was like, oh, the way he's 7 feet tall. Oh. And then he's like, you smell like you're mine, Misery. And I just, like, I wanted to be like, highlight, but it's a physical book and I'm a Kindle. Oh, and I was just, and the way that he like really puts on a show by like holding her hand and like intertwining his fingers into her fingers. And now I'm at the point where they go into their marital room that, you know, Emery has given them. And now I'm starting to think also, okay, we know up until this point that Gabrielle, the collateral that went to the vampire community or lands, was the collateral, and that she is Lowe's mate. But then it starts making me confused, because he's like, did I say she was my mate? And then the way that like when she's asking about mates and like just trying to understand him and his culture and his people, there's one thing that took me that I'm like, wait, maybe Gabrielle thought, or Gabrielle is Lowe's mate, but it's not, it doesn't have to be reciprocate. Like, it doesn't for both people. It's not, kind of like, remember Twilight when Sam mated with somebody else, but then Leah was like stuck in the pack watching it even though Sam was her mate. Like, do you remember that? If you haven't, read Twilight. And I feel like that's also why I'm so like obsessed with this series. But anyways, there's one paragraph here. Doesn't have the hardware. Maybe she doesn't feel the same biological pull toward you that you feel towards her, but she could still develop feelings. I tow my shoes off and kneel next to him. Is he going to sleep? You could still date her. And he was like, we're still talking about this? Yes. What about now? Yep. And then she says, frankly, it's a bit childish, this all or nothing attitude of yours. You could still have a... And he pops up on his elbow, kind of like looking at her in the bed. And he says, you think the reason I won't tell her is that a small part of her wouldn't be enough, he growls. You think that I would care if she were to love me less than I love her? That this is a matter of pride for me, of greed? Is that why you think I'm childish? And then she kind of like opens her mouth and just feeling a little embarrassed. And this is the part. And she's like, and he like cuts her off and she's like, but you don't know. You don't know anything about what it's like to find your other half. I would take anything she chose to give me. The tiniest fraction of her entire world, I would take her for a single night, knowing that I lose her or that I'll lose her by the morning, and I would hold on to her and never let go. I would take her healthy or sick or tired or angry or strong, and it would be my fucking privilege. Sorry, I would take her problems, her gifts, her moods, her passions, her jokes, her body. I would take every last thing if she chose to give it to me. And that like, And then he says, but I won't take that from her. And this is where I start to suspect that no longer is Gabrielle his mate, but he is Gabrielle's mate, if that makes sense. Because he says, above all, I won't take her freedom, not when so many others have already done so. And that, even though Misery doesn't see it yet, that has me convinced that when he was describing mates, this man is confused when he fucking got to the altar and saw this Misery. When he was like, why the fuck do you smell like that? And it's because she is his mate. And he was not prepared for that. I wasn't prepared for that. And now I've got to finish. I've got to finish today because I need to know if Miss Misery Lark is Lil Moreland's mate. They're husband and wife already, so I need to know. Okay, I really went on for too long, so I'm going to keep reading and we're going to circle back.
Hello, Ramona. I can't shake the simplest feeling beyond the ghost. We stand on the opposite shore. Hello, Ramona. I reach through mysterious ceilings, my only hope. I look for the things I don't know.
Okay, quick little break in this reading vlog because I got book of the month for the first time ever. I've seen book of the month around honestly for years, and then I never decided or wanted to because honestly I just like use Goodreads. Like either I go to the store and I just peruse around and I'm like, oh, read the back of this book and this book, and then that's how I end up getting a book. Or sometimes my friends send me books. I've actually rarely, even though I watch other booktube girlies and booktubers, I've rarely kind of been influenced on books. like overall. And for me, I just like to be able to, I don't know, go through Goodreads, find something, or like go in the store and find something. I will sometimes though like get books that people recommend. And anyway, this is just me saying it's like my first time being influenced to actually get a subscription, because I was like, I thought it was just like, oh, they send you a random book every month, and I'm like, okay, that's not my style, because personally I don't like mystery, thriller, like anything that has like murder or anything in it. Like that's just not my vibe. And then I decided to sign up for the app after watching one of my favorite YouTubers, Sarah Crowley, and I was like, I'll give it a try. And so I decided to get, for the month of March, Happily Never After. And then after going through, I didn't realize that you could have add-ons on your first box, and I was like, no, I wish I would have did that. But either way, I'm actually really excited, and I literally cannot wait. I'm gonna try not to say literally to describe how I'm feeling. I absolutely cannot wait. I can't wait to share with you April, because I was thinking of doing like unboxing April book of the month with books of the month, because I already have 2 of my add-ons that I had found within the app, and then of course you have to wait till the April releases to be able to add an April book. But I was also thinking about, I have books pre-saved, I should say, yeah, pre-saved, that release in April, and maybe we read the newest April releases together. I don't know, that could be really fun. So just let me know in the comments if you'd be interested in both or one over the other. I'm gonna get back to Bride. I'm at page 299 right now, and a lot has happened. It has been spicy and steamy between Lowe and between Misery. Misery almost died. She was poisoned. We still don't know if whether or not it was for Anna, but what we do know is that Thomas Gelakis was Anna's dad, human dad, and he was killed by Governor Davenport, which I'm still trying to figure out, and I think we're also still trying to figure out in the story, because now we're trying to think that maybe Serena was the one who told Thomas that he was Anna's dad, and it got her into some bind, and we're starting to see Serena less of an innocent person and less caring than we thought she was for Misery. And maybe she got herself into this mess, the whole fight that they had. And so that's where I'm at right now. I'm really trying to decipher things too, because I'm also confused when they are about to have intercourse. He said that they couldn't, and I kept getting confused, and then there was like a last line of the, okay, he says, I'll read it, and here's where I'm confused. Misery. He's saying my name like a prayer, like I'm the one standing between him and heaven on earth. And that's when I understand what he meant. Sexually, he and I might not be fully compatible. And that's where I'm so confused right now, because throughout the entire book, the way Misery describes humans, wares, and vampires is that it's just this alteredness about their DNA. As we go along in the book, we know that Lowe can smell people's lives, and he has this different sense of smell, but also there's a lot that we don't know biologically about dogs. And there's a lot of like mysteries with that, like in the real world now. And of course, our dogs descended from wolves, so wolves clearly have that superior instinct. I don't want to say power, but like instinct. So I'm still trying to understand that. But then of course vampire is so different than what we're really used to, even though, okay, werewolf, because it's somebody who can shift from human to a wolf, but also trying to decipher, like, she has only thralled somebody once, which was Max, after he tried to kidnap Anna, or Anna, yeah, Anna. And so, yeah, like I said, I've got, how many pages out? I'm trying not to spoil it for myself. I'm at 299. Yeah, and there's 405 pages. I'm a little sad that when I looked it up, this is just like a standalone book, because I feel like there's so much world building that's actually happening in this book for us to understand. And there's a lot of like politics and understanding vampire politics and understanding werewolf politics and just even understanding their relationship coming together. Then I'm like, damn, this would be a fun series that I feel maybe I just haven't found a similar book yet. I still haven't read the Crescent City series, but I bought all three, so I'm gonna get to that as well. But just something for me to really grasp to and understand. I feel like I forgot what I was saying, but I'm gonna finish these last 100 pages and then come back to you once I finish them.
Hello, Ramona. I can't shake the simplest feeling beyond the ghost. We stand on the opposite shore. Hello, Ramona. I reach through mysterious ceilings, my only hope. I look for the things I don't know.
And honestly, I was like way too tired to even come on video, so I thought I would do my final recap of everything that I read. And first of all, I'm rating this book 4 out of 5 because I really loved it. And so I feel like this book could have been a series, and I say that so strongly because it was just so good. And I'm honestly sad that it was just like a one-off story, but I feel like this is a book that I can definitely see myself rereading come like the fall, when, you know, we're getting close to Halloween again, or just in general. It was definitely a really good twist and turn and feel good romance, paranormal romance to be exact. And I love how the whole time we thought that Gabby was Lowe's mate, and then when we see Misery meet with her brother, her twin brother Owen, and Lowe comes and then he's like, what are you in school for again? Like, I forget. And then it starts to click with Misery that, oh wait, like, she's not his mate. But when the truth finally comes out that he was never gonna send Anna as collateral, and Gabby volunteered and he wasn't even going to agree to this whole collateral thing with the vampires, but he has always put the pack's needs before his own, and I really truly love that about Lowe. And then we get to see these like intimate moments, and you know, they have intercourse finally in Misery's apartment when they stop by, but then we get that abrupt stop. And he's like, we can't be together, we need to be apart. And so Mick comes to pick up Misery, and then he stabs her, and what I think is poisoning her again, or puts her to sleep. And then she wakes up, and then she's like, vampires don't dream, but this, sorry, that's my dog in the background. She's like, vampires don't dream, but this feels like a dream. And then she wakes up and she's being held hostage with Serena, and they kind of have like their moment for a little minute, like a little minute of like, oh my god, I've been looking for you, like I knew it. And Serena apologizing, which I'm like, okay, good, because there was one point where Lowe was like, do you think that Serena isn't the person that you think she could be. And we kind of like, or at least I did, like get sad for Misery, because like that's the only person she's had her whole life, and then she turns out to be this different person, and maybe we're not going to get to see her, we're not going to get to find her in this book. It was really starting to get really close to the end where I was like, man, maybe we're not going to find her. And like Serena was a different person, and Misery is just going to have to deal with that loss. And yeah, and then we see her kidnapping, and then her and Serena get out and then come to realize that they're in vampire territory, and they're like, holy crap, we're being held hostage in the nest, like in my childhood home. And then Vanya, the crazy biatch who took her from her job in the beginning in her like father's second hand, brings her to her father, and then Owen brings in Lowe. And we find out, so like when I say in this like last little section of the book, I was just so surprised by the twist in terms of like, we find out that not only is Anna half were half human, but so is Serena. And that's why she had disappeared so many times and didn't tell Misery any of those things, because she was scared, she didn't know what was going on. It felt like it was crazy to her, and it sounded crazy, and then it all kind of comes out in that moment. But I love that the little details that she put in the beginning of the book about like her and Serena, about how they created their own alphabet, which like made their own little language. And when Misery's father was about to kill her so that way Lowe would give up his sister, she's like, he's lying, he doesn't know that I actually can turn into a werewolf, like he doesn't know that. And they say that in their own little language, which I love. And so when she says her last words to Lowe, and she's like, I love you a little less if you chose me over Anna, and then kind of like looks at him to look at Serena and realize like her claws are out, and then Owen is the one that's holding him, and then he's like, no, and they all attack their father. And I love that in the end, like I thought in that moment, I thought, oh my god, her twin brother, the one that she shared the womb with, is not the person that she could trust, and that literally the Wares are the only people that she could feel at home with, especially now that Serena's aware. And then you get to see this moment of like Owen and Lowe coming together after they've got like the father with the blindfold and the headphones on, so that way he can't thrall anyone. And they're like asking her like, do you want a seat on the council? Like Owen is saying like, do you want a seat on the council? Do you want to be the person? Like, I would be upset, but you're also my sister and I love you, and like we'll put you before me, which I really love. And like, what do you want to do with father? And for her, she just like wanted her freedom and to be done. And I really love that she was just like, I don't give a shit what you do with him, and just please don't feel the need to ever tell me. And that just felt really, really good. And finally you get to really see Misery like have this freedom, because now her brother is wanting to erase everything that the vampires have done for decades. And you get to see them be the real change makers. And then after that moment, she goes and sleeps in her childhood bedroom for like a couple of days, as she like sees that the Wares and the vampires are, and the humans are doing a lot of meetings at the nest. And between Owen and Lowe, she really only sees them in passing, but she gets to spend like these few moments with Serena and kind of being like, get your own bed. And then Serena joking and just calling her a bleach, which, oh my gosh, so funny. I think though my favorite moments is like the last couple of, or I can't remember exactly if it's the last couple of chapters, but I'll tell you this moment. It's when they finally like have this intercourse moment where he like puts his knot inside of her, which I feel like that's the only thing I'm confused about in the book, but I'm not letting myself go too like deep into it, because either way, like I love the moment that they share when Lowe finally like releases that guard that he has of like wanting to protect her and wanting her to have her freedom, and her standing her around and being like, no, I love you, I want to be with you, and if you push me away, like, that's not gonna happen. I'm gonna go everywhere that you go. I'm gonna be with you at every turn and every corner. And he finally admits that, like, my mate, and like having a proper ceremony and her living in Ware territory, and not really, because people are starting to come together, but living with him and being with him. And so the last twist of it all, which just makes me laugh so much, is that before she has that like intimate moment with Lowe, she drives Serena to Juno's house because she could tell that Serena is not her old self anymore, but she knows that old Serena is never going to be the same, like, type of thing. And she knows that Juno can help her understand and evolve to more who she is. And so after they have this whole like intimate moment, Serena's at Lowe and Misery's house, and they're waiting for Anna to come back from Cohen's, and Serena is like playing with Sparkles, or Sylvester, because now we know that Serena named him Sylvester, but she shares custody with Anna, which is the best. But what, if you remember this, is that Cohen is an alpha of another territory, and it was like in their culture to swear to like celibacy as an alpha, and so he has never taken a mate or taken a wife or a lover or anything like that. And then I think the best part, I gotta open it up to these pages to read it for you, because I was like, I love this ending, where, okay, I'm gonna just read it because this is the best ending we could have got, outside of we get to see Misery and Lowe together, and that's really what I wanted. But here we go. Lowe's talking to Cohen. We'll start right here. It says, Lowe sighs and gestures him inside, meaning Cohen. Come in, I'll catch you up on the shit show of the past 10 days. And then Cohen says, very excited to hear all about, and like kind of like stops, and one single step inside the house, and Cohen halts as though he just walked into a pile of bricks. His palm reaches for the wall in search of support. Lowe says, what the hell? And staring at him with a frown, like, what the hell? When no reply comes, he turns to study his friend. His body is vibrating ever so slightly. His pupils contract like they often do when aware is on the brink of shifting in his eyes. Lowe follows Cohen's gaze. It's trained on a small figure crouched on the living room floor. She's currently scratching the chin of a purring Sparkles and murmuring apologies at him, aka Serena. And then they say, Serena. Cohen's gaze remains there for a long time, as though captured or maybe unwilling to let go. Well, 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 he drawls. His voice is gruff too deep. I'm fucked, alright. Understanding immediately dawns on Lowe. This, he thinks, is gonna be an issue. And I'm just like, this is where this could be a whole series, because we now see that Serena is Cohen's mate, and now like we don't get to see a continuation of that story. And that's how I was saying this could be a whole series of like, maybe the next book being about Owen and Misery, bringing peace between all three of the worlds and all three of these different types of people, and how maybe people retaliate, and then getting to see like Cohen and Serena's story evolve, or maybe that these two can have an interspecies baby, because do you guys remember Underworld, vampires and werewolves having babies, and her also being a rare thing? And that's what I was like, oh my god, are we leading up to this moment? But we get to see that it's half human. And yeah, I absolutely loved this book. And which is so funny too, is that afterwards I went on YouTube and kind of searched for some other people's reviews, because I wanted to see how some other people felt. And I love that we all get to have our own. I think that's what I love about it, is like everybody loves their own music and everybody loves their own things, and some people are not going to like this music and some people are not going to like books. And it was just funny seeing another really big booktuber who talks about, like, she was like, oh, this is such a highly anticipated, save the best for last, and then after reading it she was like, I wish I could scrub my eyes from the things that I read. I didn't like it. And then for me, I'm like, nothing in here really like threw me off or threw me for a loop. When I'm thinking paranormal, I'm thinking that things are going to be strange and weird and it's not going to be normal, and I loved it. So I hope you enjoyed this reading vlog. I appreciate that you're here. If you haven't already, subscribe. Like, I have so much more reading vlogs coming. I love doing these, and I just love cultivating a community and talking about books with people, and it's honestly one of my favorite things in the world to do. So I will see you in the next video, which, if you have another book that you want me to read and review, please leave that in the comments. Otherwise, I will see you in the next video. Bye!